There are 4 key drivers to profit within your business. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to identify which ones you might be struggling with and how to fix them.
What would be possible for your life and your business if you became the best version of you?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 4 P's to profit, the 4 key drivers that you can use to implement to grow your business to the next level. You might be a small business owner doing 1 to 5 million. You might be a massive business owner. We've seen across all the companies that we've served. We've coached hundreds of companies at this point. It doesn't matter what size you're in. There might be still an area that you're struggling with when it comes to these 4 drivers. I want to show you how to identify what's holding you back and how to fix those things so you can take your business to the next level. Let's break down what these 4 things are and how we can fix them and what tools you can implement. 4 P's to profit. Number 1, if you are a business owner that wants to get to the next level, the number 1 thing that you need are people. The right people in the right seats doing the right thing. And so the 4 P's to profit starts with the number 1 most important thing is people. If I don't have the right people in the right seats, it doesn't matter what else I do because you don't have the ability to create what you need. You can't do this all by yourself. I don't know how good you think you are, but if you're gonna get your business to the next level, you need people that are good at what they do so you can delegate and elevate. You can scale by building others. Right people in the right seats doing the right thing. After coaching hundreds of companies, what we have seen is this is a big struggle for people, is whether they aren't the right people, meaning they're not a core value fit, or it's not the right seat. They got people that don't actually perform the function of the assignment of the role that they need at a high level. And it might be one, it might be both. And so our ability as a leader to identify is, do I have the right people on my boat? If not, I'm gonna be held back and capped. And it doesn't matter how incredible your systems and processes and your marketing is, if you have the wrong people on your team, at some point you will be capped. And so the first thing I need to determine if I'm getting to the top level of profit that I want to is, do I have the right people in the right seats? And there's an assessment that you can do that will actually tell you if you have that. And this assessment is twofold. Let me show you what this looks like. Number 1 is right people. And number 2 is right seat. Let me show you how to verify if you have the right people in the right seats. First off is right people. This is a question of asking, are the people on my team actually fits for the culture that I want to create? Are they a value fit? And so for you to assess that is you need to take your core values and you need to run your team, every individual, through a core value assessment. And let's say you have 3 values. Let's say, I had a company I was working with the other day. Their values were passion, integrity, and impact. These are their values. And what you can do as a leader is you can run each individual through some sort of value assessment to where, okay, does this person meet the term passion by our definition? Yes or no? Let's give them a plus if they do. Let's give them a minus if they don't. And we can give them a plus or minus, or plus/minus if, some of the times they do. And so let's take passion. Yeah, they really fit the role, or they really fit our culture when it comes to passion. I really feel like they're a passionate person. They show up in the way that we need to in that value. So we'll give them a plus. Integrity. Well, man, they always do what they say they're gonna do. They keep their word, they're honest. However you would describe that value, great. We'll give them a plus. Impact means they're others serving. They are driven to make an impact. They're driven to do something bigger themselves. Well, that person is kind of selfish, but sometimes they kind of go back and forth. Cool, give them a plus and a minus. And so now I've rated this specific employee by a standard of the core values. Now you can take a different employee, say, well, they're not super passionate. Okay, minus. Integrity most of the time, yeah, they're pretty good. Okay, plus. Impact, sometimes not. Okay, give them a plus, minus. And so you're now giving a rating scale that is not just I feel like they're a good fit. I'm actually assessing them by specific values, and culture is values plus behaviors. And so I'm actually trying to drive more of the behaviors that I want to create the culture I want based off of these values. Now, The secret to this is once you've assessed these people, to make determinations, you have to set a bar. You have to set a standard of here's the minimum we will accept. Of once someone runs through this test, what is the minimum I will allow for someone to stay on our team? Is it, 2 pluses and a plus minus? Is it a plus and 2 plus minuses? I would never recommend allowing a minus because if they're just fully not a minus, would be like they never fit this. They're not going to, even with a little coaching, like I just don't think they will, then they probably shouldn't be on your team. That you should be willing to embody your values enough to say, if someone doesn't really meet that and I can't get them to, then we need to find someone else. Doesn't matter how great they are at their job, they will ruin your culture if you don't allow them to hold that standard. I would recommend something along the lines of a plus plus and a plus plus minus, or maybe 1 plus and then 2 plus minuses. Depends on how many values. You get to determine what the standard is for you. This is what we call set the bar. And then each person you run through, you got to ask, like, do they meet the bar? Do they meet the standard? If not, they either need some coaching, we got to lift them up, or coach them out. Coach them up, coach them out. You now have an assessment, though, to determine, is this the right person for my organization? Regardless of their skills, regardless of their abilities, that's a separate conversation that we're about to have. But this asks, are they the right for our culture that we want to create? Okay, so that's the first thing you do, is you determine, are these the right people for my organization? Second is right seat. Let's determine, is this person in the actual right seat for where they should be based on their skills and abilities? So it's an assessment that we call ACE. It's aptitude, capacity, and enthusiasm. So what I would do is very similar process as you did for right people, is you should run those people through the ACE method, to where you run them through this same kind of thing. And this would be just a yes or no. There's no kind of like plus or minus, to where you would ask, okay, Joe, does he have the aptitude? Meaning, was he wired the right way? Like if you're trying to have him be a creative director or head of marketing, but he's an accountant or a very analytical brain, just not gonna work. He's not wired to be a super creative person. He's wired to be detail oriented and data driven. So maybe he does or does not have the aptitude. Then when it comes to capacity, do they have the physical capacity? Do they have the time capacity? Do they have the mental capacity, the emotional capacity? Do they have the space in their life and in their mind and in their body to be able to perform what's necessary for the role? And lastly is enthusiasm. Do they actually want to be there? Are they excited about this? And you should run each specific person through this. And if someone doesn't have one of these, then they either need to be coached up or coached out. Like, hey, let's find you a different role. Or, hey, how can we get you to where you have more capacity? Hey, how do we train you a little bit more to meet the demands of this role? I think if someone doesn't have the aptitude, then don't force a round peg into a square hole. Like if they're really wired to be accountants, don't make them be the head of creative. If they're really wired to be super creative, out of the box thinker, like don't make them do accounting. Like just avoid that. But on capacity, enthusiasm, there might be some ways that you can tweak that. But that's your assessment is, do I have the right people based off of core values? And are they in the right seat based off of ACE? This is an assessment you can do to first off determine if you have the right people in the right seats. There's a ton of other things you can do. There's talent assessments. There are accountability charts. There's a bunch of other tools that we can use to make sure people are rowing in the right direction and they fit the roles. But this is an easy one that you can implement. But that is number one. I've got to have the right people in the right seats doing the right thing. The second P, if you want to drive more profit in your business, if you want to break through the ceiling, get to the next level, you need to have a clear and compelling purpose. So we have people and we have purpose. I won't spend as much time on these other ones. I will spend a ton of time on people because I need you to understand this is the foundation. If you don't have the right people in the right seats, it doesn't matter how amazing your purpose is or the other ones that we're going to outline, because the people are the foundation. You as a leader should be focusing on building the people so that they can build the business, not the other way around. These are not just your minions that you assign tasks to. Great leaders build other leaders. Now let's talk about purpose. If your team does not know who you are, where you're going, what the direction of your team is, they don't know what is that you're trying to accomplish that's bigger than you, then you're never going to be able to drive them to create the level of business that you want to have. Purpose is huge. I think about church organizations or football teams, how attached people are to that organization. Like I look at the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl last year, and I think about the equipment manager on the Kansas City Chiefs or the janitor that works the stadium. Those people still feel like they won a championship even though they weren't on the field. Why? Because they are so attached to the clear and compelling purpose of winning championships, that they feel like they're a part of it. Your team can be the same way. I think about when I worked in ministry. I was a pastor and got to lead massive teams of volunteers. And I had hundreds of people that were so bought into the mission that they would be able to sacrifice their time and effort for free. They weren't paid anything. They just believed in the mission so much that they wanted to be there. They would give up their whole weekend to come serve and be a part of this. Why? Because they believed in the purpose. You as a leader need to have that same thing for your team. And so there's a couple things you can do. One is you need your core values defined. Two is you need a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. You need a purpose statement. There's three things that you could use. Is a BHAG, so there's a long-term goal, a vision of, it could be a monetary thing, it could be an impact thing of here's the target on the wall, somewhere between 5 and 30 years of what we're wanting to accomplish. That is the North Star for us. Another one could be values. If you don't have these things, you want to implement these. Your core values of who are we? What's the culture we're building? Why do we exist would be the last one, which is your purpose statement. Now, I think a lot of people do these things in a really cutesy way. If I got values and I got a mission statement, they don't mean anything. They just sit on a wall, they sit on a website, no one ever uses them. But you as a leader needed to clearly define your values and your purpose in a big, hairy, audacious goal so that you know where we're going so people can attach to this. That's number two, purpose. So we have right people in the right seats, we have people. Second is purpose. We give people something to attach to. Where are we going? Who are we? Do I want to be a part of something bigger than me? That's purpose. Third is playbook. If I'm going to get my team to perform at a high level, to create the profits that I want, it requires me having a key set of systems and processes that my team can follow. It's the structure. It's the systems they follow. It's the step-by-step framework they know how to jump into and execute. This is why companies like McDonald's can hire kids in high school and just say, here's the playbook, go execute. And over and thousands of times, they get the same results consistently. Regardless of skill levels, the playbooks are so well documented that someone can jump in, and it's not skill dependent, it's not personality dependent. They're able to jump right in and execute the game plan. Playbooks are so huge. Starting off, like I would create 8 to 12 core processes. And these 8 to 12 core processes can be a beginning playbook for yourself that you as a company know how you exist. You know how you function. You know how you find clients. You know how you sell clients. You know how you deliver those. You know how you get paid. You need to document the basics. There's a lot more that you can do here when it comes to meeting structure, when it comes to an operating system, which is something I help implement into companies, is build a whole framework and operating system very similar to EOS or Empire or Scaling Up, certified in multiple of those. But you need at the basics, core processes for people to follow. So once you have the right people in the right seats, they're attached to a clear vision or purpose. It's like your North Star. It's the fire that lights them up and pushes them to keep going. Third is they need clear playbooks of how am I executing on a daily basis. As a foundation, if you don't have a lot of systems and processes and process maps and things documented, as a foundation, just get 8 to 12 of your basic core ones documented as a starting place. Lastly, if I want to create more profit, I can't just have the right people in the right seats. I can't just have a clear and compelling vision and purpose. I can't just have playbook. The last thing I need to do is I needed to have the ability to drive performance. Performance is what holds this all together. Is I can have the right people in the right seats. I can give them a clear and compelling purpose. I can give them a playbook to execute, but if I don't drive consistent results and show them what a win looks like, it's really hard to get profit where you want it to be, because people are driven to certain performance metrics, whether you know it or not. You're either allowing it or you're teaching it. If you're allowing it, they're setting their own performance metrics, they're doing what they feel is right. But if you're able to teach it and show them what a win looks like and give them clarity and accountability on what that win looks like, then you can push performance way harder. And I see this with the organizations that we coach, is when we implement some of the tools that we do around performance, exponential growth happens in an individual level, a department level, and an organizational level. Why? Because there's clarity around what a win looks like. And so the number one thing I would start with, if you do not have this, is scoreboards. Why are scoreboards important? Scoreboards, when you think about it in a sports context, scoreboards show you how a team is performing. I could have no concept of what's happening within a game. I can walk into a football game. I don't know anything about the teams, but I can look up at that scoreboard and I can see who's winning, how much time's left, who has the ball, all in one snapshot, and I'm immediately caught up to the game. Your business, you should be able to have that same exact thing, both at an organizational level for you as a leader, but also a departmental level, and individuals need to have their own ones as well. You need to be able to look and see, how are we performing? Are we on track towards our goals? When I set a big, hairy, audacious goal, I should be able to have a strategy and a plan that works all the way down into weekly targets that I'm reviewing consistently, and I'm looking to see, hey, am I on track or off track? Do we need to make some changes? Looking at the lead measures of the inputs we're doing consistently that are going to lead to these longer term lag measures. Are we on track? Does the scoreboard reflect that we're doing the right things? If you don't have these, you're just guessing. And I'm a big believer that great data leads to great decisions. If you have data you're consistently tracking, those data points allow you to make good decisions that you can see if you're off track and you can make changes. You can see if you're progressing to where you want to go. Most leaders don't even know where they want to go. But if they do know where they want to go, and they've casted a clear and compelling purpose, and they have these goals and values and purpose clearly defined, the ones that do, most of them don't have clear tracking metrics to determine, am I on track? What changes do I need to make? And so my challenge for you is, if you want to increase performance, start with scoreboards. Have an organizational scoreboard. And if I'm a leadership team, I want to think about, I'm on an island by myself. I have no attachment to my team. What numbers do I need to see from each department to know how we're doing? So it's usually 1 to 3 numbers per department. That's a great place to start for organization. Now, then your department needs an expansion of that. Then individuals need their own little scoreboard of, what is my target for the day or for the week, so that they know what a win looks like. If you can give people a clear and compelling win to track their performance, if you can give them a playbook to execute so they know exactly step by step how to get to that win, if you can give them a clear and compelling purpose of what the win actually looks like, where we're going, where this daily win drives, and how I'm contributing to a long-term purpose, and then you can make sure that you have the right people in the right seats that can do these things, that's where you as a business owner can create more profit. But the cool part about this that I didn't mention is, profit isn't just profit. When you do this the right way, these 4 Ps will actually lead to more peace for you as a business owner, because it doesn't just rely on you. Most business owners are professional firefighters. Problem comes up, I gotta put that out. Whack-a-mole, I'm just chasing fires all the time. But when you do this the right way and you have the right people in the right seats, knowing that they're good at their job, they're good at that role, and they fit your values, and they have a clear and compelling purpose, they know exactly where they're going, they know who they are, they know why we exist, and they have clear playbook or processes for execution. And lastly, they know what a win looks like. They're being driven to consistent accountability around performance. Once you have all that, it allows you as a business owner to truly just build other leaders. And you can step back and the game plan executes itself. Usually when I draw this up, this actually becomes a big circle, and you can put 1, 2, 3, 4 of 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's arrows that this thing builds on itself, and it drives this flywheel of performance. But you can understand that this is a flywheel that all drives the center of more profit. They all build on itself, and it allows you as a business owner to step out of the business and work on the business, not in the business, and the team perpetuates this growth. And X marks the spot. It drives that center, more profit. But once you have more profit and it's not all dependent on you, this allows you as a business owner to have peace. You can actually take vacations. You can actually trust that there's leaders that are running the business even better than you sometimes. So it's not all dependent on you. If I want more profit and more peace as a business, I need to know that I have the right people in the right seats, attached to a clear purpose, with a clear playbook of execution, all being driven around performance metrics that drive to what a win really looks like. If you can have all 4 of those, that is how you create a winning company of more profit and more peace. So your assignment is to ask yourself, which of these 4, might be one, might be all 4, am I really struggling with? And if I am, if I feel like this is missing, which of these tools can I implement? Do I need to determine if they're the right people in the right seats? Do I need to add a BHAG, values, purpose? Do I need to document our 8 to 12 core processes? Do I need to put some scoreboards in our business? Maybe you need to do all of those things, but you got to determine the next step. I say this a lot. The difference between information and transformation is application. You actually have to apply. And so I would pick one to start. What is my number 1 focus that I'm going to change out of this video? Is it my people? Is it the purpose? Is it the playbook? Is it the performance? Pick one and go execute. Now, if you're a business owner and you're like, I need help with all of this, or man, I would really like to accelerate this process, I can help. So there's a link below that talks about how we do this for teams. There's incredible companies we've been able to serve, brands and names that you know of, that we've been able to implement this process for. So if you want help with this process, it's a no commitment thing. We can just do a free discovery call. We can talk about which one of these I would see with you or our team would see with you. Help diagnose at the very least. I can give you some free resources to use to implement this yourself. Like if you want an actual document to use for these, if you want a process built out for you so you can build these yourself, totally help you with that. We've got tons of free tools we can give to you, but make sure you take action. Make sure there's application so it doesn't just stay at information. It takes application so that you can have the transformation you want in your business. That's your assignment. Let's pick one of those, and if you need more help, click the link in the notes below and we can book a call and I can walk you through this. But either way, take action. Thanks so much for tuning in. Create the business that you want that has more profit and more peace with these 4 things. You're a winner, it's who you are. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.